He stood near the middle of the crowded city bus, gripping the metal pole as the vehicle jerked through traffic, his worn backpack pressed against his chest, his hoodie slightly faded from too many washes, the kind of man nobody noticed twice, the kind of man the world often overlooked, and as the bus slowed near the next stop, he saw her, standing a few feet away, elegant even in exhaustion, her posture calm but her eyes troubled, searching her purse again and again, fingers moving faster. Panic slowly breaking through her composed face, until the bus driver's impatient voice cut through the noise, demanding payment or exit, and that was the moment something shifted inside him, because he knew that look too well, the look of having dignity but not enough money, of wanting to disappear rather than be judged, and before his mind could argue with his heart, he reached into his pocket and pulled out the last few bills he had planned to save for dinner, stepping forward and quietly offering them to her with a gentle smile, saying softly, "It's okay. I've got it," and she froze, startled, eyes lifting to meet his, expecting pity or pride, but finding neither, only kindness, pure, uncalculated kindness, and she hesitated, clearly unused to help from strangers, but the driver was waiting, the bus was waiting, life was waiting, so she accepted the money, her fingers brushing his, electricity sparking in a way neither of them could explain, and she thanked him with a sincerity that felt heavier than the cash itself, taking a seat nearby while he returned to standing, unaware that this small act of generosity would change both of their lives forever. She watched him from across the aisle, the way he stood without complaint, the way he gave his seat to an elderly woman moments later, the way he didn't once look back to see if she was watching, and something in her chest tightened, because men like him didn't exist in her world, or so she thought. And as the bus rolled forward, memories flooded her mind of boardrooms, private jets, luxury penthouses, headlines calling her a visionary CEO, a self-made millionaire who controlled companies worth millions, a woman surrounded by power yet starving for sincerity, and she smiled bitterly at the irony that today, dressed simply, leaving a stressful meeting early, she had intentionally taken public transport to feel normal, only to forget her wallet, only to be rescued by a man who owned almost nothing yet gave everything without hesitation. When the bus reached his stop, he moved toward the exit, still unaware of who she really was, and on impulse she stood too, heart racing, calling out to him, insisting he take her number so she could repay him, and he laughed lightly, shaking his head, saying it wasn't necessary, that some things didn't need repayment, but she persisted, her eyes intense, something unspoken passing between them, and finally he agreed, scribbling his name and number on a scrap of paper, stepping off the bus and disappearing into the crowd, leaving her standing there holding a piece of paper that felt more valuable than any contract she had ever signed. Days passed, yet she couldn't stop thinking about him, the warmth in his voice, the humility in his actions, the way he made her feel seen without knowing who she was, and finally she called him, inviting him for coffee, which turned into hours of conversation, laughter, shared dreams, shared scars, and she never told him the truth, not at first, because for the first time in her life she wanted to be loved for who she was, not what she owned, and he fell for her too. Slowly, deeply, the kind of love built on respect and admiration rather than attraction alone, until one evening she invited him to what he believed was a small office gathering, only for him to step into a massive corporate headquarters, screens flashing her face, employees standing in respect as she walked beside him, finally revealing the truth, that she wasn't just any woman, that she was the CEO, the millionaire, the woman who could buy the bus, the road, and everything on it, but before fear could consume him, she looked at him with vulnerability, confessing that none of it mattered if he didn't feel the same, and in that moment he realized something profound. Wealth had never impressed him, but character always had, and the richest person he had ever known was the man he saw in the mirror that day on the bus, because he had given without expecting anything in return, and she had fallen madly in love with him not because of what he had, but because of who he was. Their story spread quietly, not through headlines but through hearts, reminding the world that kindness still holds power, that love still rewards the genuine, and that sometimes the smallest acts, like paying for a bus ride, can lead to the greatest journeys of all. And if this story touched your heart, if you believe kindness still matters in a world obsessed with status, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because every story here is a reminder that real wealth isn't money, it's humanity.